Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. This is Mayegun Live. So thank you so much for joining us. Read the caption of the broadcast. The first thing you probably saw when you tried to join this session this evening, right? Then read the description as well. Like it, share it. Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell everyone that cares to know that Mayegun today ani esunraki. Thank you very much. Who will rescue Nigerians from Tifnumbu? It is an opinion on one of the Nigerian dailies. I read that and I'm like, well, they would have to rescue themselves by themselves. If not, it is going to be a generational disaster. It's already signed, sealed, and almost delivered. People are too tired, too weak. They are broken to even fight. As it stands, majority are just trying to possibly live in a limbo or live in hibernation. Hibernation, like pretend that this is not even happening. And hopefully the 8 years will pass fast. Please share this broadcast, by the way. Nigerians don't hate oppression. They do not hate corruption per se. Most of them just don't like it when they are not the ones doing the oppression. Thank you. Bless you. Mutide. So good morning to you once again. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. It is Mayegun Live. And we are starting tonight with this opinion of one writer in one of the Nigerian dailies. It really caught my attention that I read it. And I was like, there is nothing stated in that article. I'm not sharing the article, just a summary of it. Very interesting stuff, by the way. Like, who is going to save you from Tifnumbu? Number one, majority of you did not vote for Tifnumbu. In fact, when you had a chance of rejecting APC, Egbekegbe, you did. Unfortunately, your fate has been signed, sealed, and delivered to the Bodilon drug lord, Tifnumbu. It's pretty much like there's almost nothing you could do. Emefiole, as corrupt as he is, also tried to see if they could possibly stop Tifnumbu. But what they didn't know then was that the institutions in Nigeria have been so compromised that those you would have reported Tifnumbu to, they were already in his paybook. So now that he is in charge, now that he has managed to consolidate his state capture, and you have seen a lot of people as well who were once possibly like a closet supporters of Tifnumbu, those ones that never came to the public in the first place. Some of them are now coming out of their shells by trying to jump into the fray and defend this calamity. The elderly people that used to speak out in Nigeria, I'm talking about the intellectuals, the intellectuals, those who always had opinions about how the country was being run. Majority of them today have become deaf and dumb. The younger generation that are pretty much loud and very critical of the failing government of APC, Egbekegbe in Nigeria. They have been tagged, lousy, disrespectful. In fact, we have had the older generation that are pretty much forcing it and they're ramming it down our throats. That the way that we have the right to complain, however, it is the way we are complaining that they find a little bit, they find insulting. And they are saying it to our faces that if we continue like this, nothing is going to change because nobody will listen to us because we are so rude. So the younger people have been tagged enemies of Nigeria by those who were supposed to be the torch bearers, those who are supposed to be the guide for a lot of the younger generation today have either compromised or decided to just go mute. Some of them have left Nigeria to probably go and stay somewhere else where they have their second citizenship. So Nigeria is currently in the hands of Atiku and his gang. And the propaganda, which we said before, you can rig an election. You can use propaganda to get to power. But to run a country, you are going to need more than that propaganda. Nigeria is at the worst place ever. Most of your banks are already distressed. They have said the government is cooking up fake figures, fake data, sharing fake data to make themselves look a little bit better than what they are. Your banks, your businesses, institutions are cooking up fake data as well, to the point that you do not know what is true or what is a lie. Almost what is true, what is a lie anymore. So what many are now saying is that it is either this implosion happen quick or the illusion and the delusion which they are selling to you every day probably will last longer than expected. In all of this, you are all cooked. The rich, who felt like maybe this won't even affect them that much, they are also sweating in this cold weather. They are sweating. They are like roasting. Reason is this: the entire space is so cold as we speak right now. The economy is in the gutters, and the impunity in the system is at its highest. So who do you trust? You can't use an election to get rid of these criminals anymore. You cannot even possibly use the violence on them anymore. So who else is going to rescue you? Somebody said in that article, well, maybe the people, once the people get to know the truth, like the real truth, and they see the danger that they are in, including some of you who are currently business owners in that contraption, when you finally figure out and find out where you are in the whole scheme of things, where everything you hold dear is totally taken away from you, or about to be taken away from you, maybe that will be the time you will realize that the weapon fashioned against you, or what the poor are complaining about, is the same weapon fashioned against yourself too. Or the weapon fashioned against the poor is the same weapon fashioned against you. The elite in Nigeria, especially those ones that parade themselves as elites, corrupt, thinking elites, selfish, self-centered elite in Nigeria, the ones that love to throw parties, the ones that believes that all they need is just to parley with any form of government, whether it is at the state level or even at the Abuja level, as long as their nest is pure feathered, then every other person can go to places. You are living in a bubble that is just about to burst. Nigeria elites, which usually, like we said, mostly nonchalant towards all this reality, if they can get their friends in government to sign out contracts for them, pay them the money that will kind of fund their lifestyle, they can look away. Here is what Tifnubu and gang they have done, especially to those of you who call yourself elites. The elites that are probably not, benefiting directly from this rot yet, okay? The devaluation of Nigerian naira is one thing that has wiped off See this one, oh, it has wiped out more than 70% of your what is it? Do you call that stock? No, they have a name for it. Your entire assets. I think it's assets. And some of you don't even know that yet. But in the next few months, there's going to be even more wipeout of your assets. Those of you who have foreign assets where you kind of fix some of your stuff out there, maybe you will be the last that this thunderstorm is going to eat. But to those of you who have been putting together money in Nigeria, especially those of you who have houses, have lands, they tell you that all those things don't depreciate. Abi, here is something you should know. Tifnumbu and his gang have destroyed Nigeria economy so bad, that some of you will believe that you have something saved somewhere. Number one, once your banks start collapsing, because that is almost happening now. Heritage Bank is one. There are other banks that are going to collapse very soon as well. And this is because the devaluation of your naira, the destruction of your economy, which they are now cooking up different figures to patch up, make it look like it's fine, is not fine. All right. So what then will happen is that a lot of you will know that you see that your house. I think I've said this before on this platform that majority of you parading yourselves as okay in Nigeria or averagely okay. Majority of you don't know that you are just one sickness away, one simple sickness away from poverty. You see those people that are queuing for bread, where you see people who actually have jobs. I'm talking about school teachers. Those people who have jobs, who pretend to have jobs, they can no longer feed themselves. They are now looking out for handouts, left, right, and center, just within a space of 16 months. By the time you get to the 24 months, or you get to the 36 months, and then you now get to the 48 months, which is 4 years, right? Some of you will now realize that, you see that your car, at least some of you already, you've parked your car now, you barely drive the car because there is no, some of you can't really afford the amount of what it takes to fuel the car every day anymore, every week anymore. You are now cutting cost. If it's not that important, they drive your car anymore. Abi? Now so it go be. You see, some of you will now realize what they have done to you is that it may be a member of your family, it may be yourself. One simple sickness. You are just one sickness away from poverty. And you see that your house that you believe that should be having value, you bought the house or you built the house and the value was how much? 20 million. Now it's worth how much? 50 million naira. Here is what they have done to you in case I can help. Or maybe I can help you tell yourselves the truth. You have a house, because some of you will be like, Nigerians, they have their own houses. They have their own this and that. Great. That's fine, right? That's great. However, what if Numbu Kolu and his, economic saboteurs, the destroyer of Nigeria, what they have done is this. I'll put it on the scale for you. You see that your house that is valued at 50 million naira. Maybe 10 years, maybe 5 years ago, the value of the house was like maybe, let's say 25 million or 30. But now they are telling you that it is what? 50 million naira. Now let's put it on this scale. Your 30 million naira 5 years ago could possibly be somewhere around 20 to 25,000 US dollars. Hang on. No. 10,000 US dollars would be like 4 million. 4 times, probably 4 times 10. Let's even use that. Right? That should give you somewhere around $100,000, right? Okay. I'm going to need my pen. This is how I kind of do my own workings so that I can relate, so much with you. If back 5 years ago, your $40,000, let's use that. Your $40,000 will give you maybe somewhere around 16 million naira, right? Or 17 million naira. So let's double that. That could be like around $70,000 should probably give you somewhere around 35 million naira. 70,000. Today, if your house is now worth 50 million naira, right? I mean, that sounds like, oh, that's something, right? It is nothing. That your 50 million naira is now somewhere around 10,000 US dollars. It's up to 10,000, where you have a 1,700 to a dollar. So the value there is that your 50 million naira, even though say you have appreciated in value, right? Your 50 million naira is now probably less than $20,000. So it simply means that your house, your mansion, or your property that you are like saying, if things go south, I have my house. It has lost more than how much? More than 50% of its own value without doing anything. And when they have to kind of, dispose it off to care for your health, care for the health of somebody in your family, you realize that the value of it may actually even be worse at the end of the day. This is what Tinubu and gang have done to you. They have done so much damages into the economy, the banking sector, and every sector for that matter, that a lot of you are living in a bubble. I'm talking to the elite now. You see, when I start shouting all these millions, all of us will not be millionaire. To concern us because they don't wreck us already in a way. But let's make it simple, in a simpler term now, okay? In 2015, right, 1 million naira in Nigeria was 2,000 or so dollars. We'll give you 1 million, or 1.5 million naira will be like 2,000 US dollars. It's quite more than that, probably $2,200. We'll give you 1.5 million. This was last year. I'm not talking about 10 years ago anymore. I'm talking about last year. When this rule came in, 9 years ago, 1 million naira will give you 4,000, in fact, $5,000. That was 1 million naira 9 years ago. Today, 1 million naira. In fact, why am I using dollars? Let me use pound sterling, the one I actually understands better. 9 years ago, 1 million naira was 4,000 pounds sterling. Today, 1 million naira is just about 435 pounds. So, within a space of 9 years. Meanwhile, even last year, 2023, a pound was somewhere around 850 naira. So, which means 1 million pounds, 1 million naira last year under Bokwari before Tinubu came on, right? 1 million naira was like 1,250 pounds. This was something that was like a 4,000 pounds 9 years ago. But as at last year, you will need 1,200 pounds sterling to get 1 million naira in Nigeria. Today, between last year and this year, 2023 May to 2024 May, all you need is just 450 pounds. And that's what will give you 1 million naira. So do you know what that means? It simply means that Nigeria, or Nigerian value of your currency and the value of everything you do or work for in that country, within a space of 9 years, APC, they depreciated your currency by more than 5,000%. From 4,000 pounds, 4,100 pounds or so, that gives you 1 million naira. That same 1 million naira today is just 435 pounds. And it's going to get worse. That is why when you run into trouble, not only that Nigerians will not be able to afford even Tokumbo cars anymore. Yeah, you will not be able to afford Tokunbo cars. They just bought this Big Daddy car. I want to use it for Uber. You won't be able to afford that anymore. Because imagine if you have to actually cough out 15 million, 18 million to buy a Tokunbo car. Won't you just go and look for 2009, 2007 cars? That is what they have done to you. So to those of you who are elites, who probably still have, the only people who can afford Tokunbo cars today, or even brand new cars, they are mostly politicians and their friends. Maybe Yahoo boys can afford some used cars, not brand new cars per se. So that is what they have done to your economy. And whether you are still kind of jumping up and down, doing all this, your tribal this, tribal that, ethnic this, ethnic that, by the time you get to 2026, 2027, so many of you who thought you had houses, you will probably put them up for sale in Banjo. You will see people having to come and buy that your beautiful house, so that you can actually have money to buy your medication, to buy your stroke medication, to buy your high blood pressure medication, to buy your other, life-threatening medication, because people are choosing between eating or buying their medication. Imagine people who are supposed to be like on their steady life-saving drugs, right? But because they cannot afford it, they have to skip. People are skipping their medication. So people are dying in their own slow way. Others who don't want to die, who just don't want to die right away, they are selling their properties. They are disposing them off like that. People are falling into that abject. So when these guys are pushing this tribal that, the question is, if people know the mess they are in, if you know the type of mess you are in that contraption that these guys have done, would you still have that strength, that energy, right, to waste in fighting your tribal war, your ethnic war, which is what most of you are being distracted with right now? So when I saw that article, who is going to rescue Nigeria from Tifnumbu? Some said maybe not yourself, but you are too weak, too tired, too hungry to even, they are selling one tricycle, Bajaj, for 1.5 million, 2 million naira. Okay? They are selling Okada for 1 million naira, 1.2 million naira. And you are hearing this million. But these are the things that the devaluation has caused. And it is not ending. So Tifnumbu continued to tell you that his policy is reform. He's talking about reforms. His reform is going to take time. People should endure. Then you have people who they are giving 50,000 naira to, 20,000 naira, to come and tell you and force it down your throat that reform takes time. Now, Boko Haram don't destroy Nigeria before Tifnumbu. If you know what they did to you and did to all of your, to your economy generally in the last 16 months, you won't have any energy to be shouting Yoruba Ronu, this one Ronu, or tribal this or that, or you'll be fighting for soup on social media. I'm talking to those young ones now. Your future is gone. Education is gone. They took away the subsidy on your education. So practically, there is no future anywhere anymore. There is no place that Nigeria is actually raising the generation for the future anymore. No. That one is like gone. What you are going to have in the future is going to be the future of a miscreant, the future of a fraudsters, the future for different kind of criminals who are going to determine the future of Nigeria. The level at which they decided to impoverish the people through some of these policy pronouncements. And they are telling you they are doing this because of you. And some of you are helping them repeat it. It's so alarming that when I saw the article, when that guy said, who is going to rescue Nigerians from Tifnumbu? I'm like, I don't think anybody is coming to rescue you. The least you can get or you can have is the right information that shows you the type of mess you are in. Somebody tells you that no matter what, under no these circumstances, Tinubu will do 80 years. Somebody like me will just say amen. Because what else can you do? When majority of you believe that it's already there, it's gotten the power already. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You just have to wait it out. In 16 months, they turn your lives upside down. And to those of you who are the elite, who call yourself the middle class, you know there's no middle anymore. There's no middle ground anymore. The last stroke that is going to break the camel's back for all of you